Hi guys, Darkovika here. It's been a while. I know it's been a little bit, but that's okay. Life is life, and I'm sort of figuring things out for what I want for my channel, but what else is new? Anyways, I thought I would talk to you guys just for funsies about my current obsession. We all know that I have an everlasting obsession with The Sims 4 on this channel, or just The Sims in general. I'm literally addicted to The Sims, but my most recent evolution in addictions has actually become Final Fantasy XIV, which, if I'm completely honest, was very unforeseen. I'm very much not an MMO person, as we know, in part just because, like, I'm terrified of people in online games. I vaguely know why. I know at least the beginning of this fear. I could not explain it psychologically, but I have extreme social anxiety, normally, in online games. Specifically where I can't see people's faces, it just wigs me out. I don't know what it is. It just makes me really anxious. Which is, I don't know how this works. Anyways, my husband and I have been playing Final Fantasy XIV, and we have our characters together. So I'm obviously a Vera, which is this lovely rabbit child. You'll notice that I have quite a bit of days subscribed to Final Fantasy XIV. I'm not as far along as you might think that I am. There was a long period of time where I was just creating new characters over and over and over again, because I'm also addicted to character creation in games like this. It's a problem. I really like making new characters. I do. And I just love this game. It took a bit. I will say this. If you haven't played Final Fantasy XIV, one of the things that really there's a lot that makes this game super fun. But one of the things I think that makes it super fun is how much effort is put into the story for Final Fantasy XIV. It's very, at least for me, uncommon to see a story have this much effort for this long in an MMORPG, because I think most gaming companies kind of typically believe that the story comes very, very last, which, granted, in the past I have also said that I believe gameplay to be, if not on par, then more important than story. But I think that the two are, like, hand in hand. For me, textures are dead last. I don't care about textures. If my story and my gameplay is good, I'll play Minecraft, whatever. But, like, obviously the textures in this are quite beautiful. The game is gorgeous. The characters are beautiful. Look at my darling rabbit child. I'm obsessed with her. Extremely attached to her. Just as a side note, I changed her hairstyle, and I still cannot decide if I'm going to wind up going back to her hair, because I am that attached to her. I will likely never change anything about her features or her hair color. It was hard to go with this, and the main reason that I stick with it is because her hair tie has white flowers on it, and it's super adorable. But her hair was very different when I first created her, and I will likely go back to that hair because that is just how she originally was. I'm not very far in this game, which is saying something because I have nearly 7 days of playtime on this character. Like, literally 7 days. There's a command in the game where you can see how long you've been playing, and I think actually 7 days of gameplay. Brent has something like 8 or 9 days, I forget. And we play mostly together. Brent is very much a min-maxer, so he's gotten all of his DO8, or excuse me, let me talk as if nobody knows what I'm talking about. He's gotten all of his side jobs to level 50. Let me explain that. So in Final Fantasy XIV, you are not limited in your character. And I think, honestly, this is probably one of the things that makes this game so great. Something that constantly kills me in games like this is the idea of what I could have been. And that's probably the main reason why I make so many characters in games like MMOs. Oh, look at her. She's adorable. I love her to... Oh my god, look at her. Absolute drama queen. Or not drama queen, but just a queen in general. And there is something to be said about a game that allows you to be absolutely everything, which is what this game does. Let's just enjoy this for a second. So in Final Fantasy XIV, there is no limits. It does not matter what your race is or what your starting stats are. It really does not make that big of a difference. What really is most important, honestly, is that you just pick something that you're interested in, because you don't have to stick with it. If I pull up my character, you can go ahead and see right here, actually. These are all of the side classes that you can pick up, and I obviously do not have all of them. Brent does, and he has maxed all of them to 50. I say maxed. Max is actually level 80, but for where we are in the game, he has maxed everything to the highest level that it would be comfortable to get to without being an absolute pain. I only have 2 classes at 50, and I was working on Weaver. Oh, I'm sorry, just kidding. I have 3 classes at 50. I'm a little cooler than I thought I was. I was working on Weaver, and then my attention span disappeared. So this is the other cool part. So these are side classes, and these side classes are basically there for you to be able to make food, which obviously boost your stats. You can collect materials, you can create armor for people or yourself and all of your 5 billion classes. And you can go fishing, which is mostly, if not entirely, for culinarian, maybe alchemist. So obviously these classes are support classes, and they're super cool, and I freaking love them. And you'd think I'd be the one with level 50 on all of them, because I want to be the most useful person I can be. I want to make things for everyone. I want to be that person in the guild that's like, yo, you need something? I got you. I can make that for you. Even though I think everybody technically can do that, because literally there's nothing stopping you from doing this. You can literally do everything in this game. There's nothing holding you back. Except maybe the availability of experience points, but you know, that's just life. So obviously over here you can see all of the classes that are available for your warrior, your fighting stuff. Oops, that was Alright, I just want to explain what happened. I hit the button to see if I could make the HUD go away, and then I was like, oh wait, this is part of the HUD. I take a lot of screenshots in this game, and so I habitually make the HUD go away and then instantly do a screenshot because I just do that, so that's what that was. These classes, you can be all of them. As you can see, I'm quite a few of them. I'm a blue mage, which is just hysterical. I am a black mage. That's my highest leveled class at 55. I am a level 12 archer because I wanted to get to bard, because I don't know, I just really like the idea of being a bard. And I'm a level 44 astrologian because that is the class, that I have been gunning for since I started this game. I wanted to be an astrologian, and I am an astrologian. And I am so happy. I love the class so much. It's so much fun. It's so stressful because it's a Healy class, but it's such a cool class. Like, I really like it. I like being a healer. I also do really well as, okay, according to me, which is not saying much, I think I do fairly well as a black mage. I do run from AoEs if you play Final Fantasy XIV. Scout's Honor. I do not let AoEs hit me. This game is just really fun and really cool, and the fact that you can be everything, like, is just so rad. I love it so much. It means that you literally do not have to make a new character. You don't spend the game sitting there being like, man, but what if I had picked this other class? Especially when you have so many classes. It would be impossible for me to ever get past level 20. That's usually where I die out and I want to make another character, because I'm like, but what's this other class like? Like, they're pretty. I have that problem really bad in Guild Wars 2, because A, Guild Wars 2 is really, really pretty, and B, all of the classes are really cool, but I can't be all of them. So then I just make new characters and I don't get very far, because then I want to know what the other character is like, and that's my problem with Guild Wars 2. But in Final Fantasy XIV, that's not a thing. It's so cool. And then here's the other thing. Oh, I probably didn't say hi to my FC. They probably all said hi to me and I just sort of ignored them. No, I didn't. Okay, that's fine. I have a really nice, friendly FC. I'm on server Genova, by the way. My FC is very, very nice. They're wonderful people. It's called the Black Waltz. So in Final Fantasy XIV, that's the other thing that makes this game just really, really amazing, is the fact that everyone in this game, or a vast majority of the people in this game, are usually very, 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 very friendly. That, to me, is very unstereotypical of MMOs, even though I'm not that, like, well-versed in MMOs. I'm terrified of people in online games, so obviously I don't have that much experience in them. And my only real experiences were a couple really bad ones in World of Warcraft a very long time ago. Like, I think that was classic. It was basically the olden days of World of Warcraft. And I had a couple of bad experiences there, and it was years before I ever returned to the game. And then a couple of really bizarre experiences in RuneScape that made me just believe that everyone on the internet can't be trusted. What's changed? No, I'm just kidding. So my experiences have been very few and far between, but the vast majority of them up until 14 has been relatively not that great. And of course I do have friends who play MMOs like very, very deeply. Like I have one friend who's just very, 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 very good at World of Warcraft. And a lot of the people at that stage, especially, get very, very mean. So far, I have not met anyone in 14 who is mean. Like, literally no one. A couple people who are just, like, very, maybe like, slightly flippant, but that's basically it. Most of the time, if someone is not nice, they're just not talking at all. They don't say anything, because it's very weird to be mean in this game, especially when the developers work really hard to reward you for being nice. The game has an entire system built around being helpful and being good to other players. If you are a jerk, you are literally just not going to be rewarded at all, and you might be blocked, which is not a good thing at all, because if you're blocked, that means you are limiting your access to players that you can party up with when you do dungeons and raids. So all of 14 was designed really to encourage this friendliness. And I mean, there's an entire system called the mentor system, where if you are very high, actually, I don't even, no, you need to meet a lot of requirements depending on what type of mentor you want to be. And those requirements are insane. All right, I just happen to know off the top of my head what the vague requirements are for a battle mentor. You need to reach level 80 in a tank class, a healer class, and a DPS class, I think. And I think all three, you need a level 80. And then you also need to have done 1,000 dungeons or raids, just instances. I think you just need to do 1,000 instances, and I think you need 1,500 commendations. Just to give you guys an idea of what that means, I have 46 commendations, so good luck on the 1,500. So you need to be playing for a really long time in order to become a mentor for battle. And what do you get out of being a mentor? Well, okay, so there's this thing called the Novice Network. And what the Novice Network is designed to do is to create a place for new players where they can learn about the game. And if they are picking up the game for the first time, or they're level 1 and they team up with a mentor, both the mentor and the new player will receive a fairly large EXP bonus all the way up to level 20 for the novice. And this is, I mean, like, that's really cool. Like, obviously, that's rewarding the mentor as well, because as you get further and further into the late game, leveling up your classes gets really hard. So even though you can do everything, you kind of want to, like, cherry pick the things that you're going to pick up and actually work on in the beginning, because it gets a lot harder once you start running out of things like main story quests, especially when you're picking up classes and they are level 30, like Astrologian. I'm salty about that because Heavensward, which is the DLC that I'm currently in, starts, all of the quests are level 50, and Astrologian, the class that I really, 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 really wanted that I could only get once I got to Heavensward, it starts you at level 30, which is rude, but also probably required because the class is a little complicated. So the game is really just very rewarding to people, and very like friendly, and it rewards people for being friendly, which frankly is like super cool. And obviously I'm not very like far along in this game. Like, I still have my little noob leaf, which I'm not 100% sure when that goes away. I'm gonna be completely honest. I worked very hard for my heavy hatchling. This is my pride and joy right here. This pet I have had out since the near beginning of the game, because I found out that the fat chocobo was a pet that you could get from the gold saucer, which is basically a mini game area, which I think is really, there's so much to do in this game. Constantly. It's just a never ending, like, what do I do? I could do literally so much. Like, okay, you have your daily stuff, which, like, the duty roulette, which effectively runs you through all of your available dungeons or all of your available trials, which are basically raids. Oh, we unlocked this one. We're finally high enough level to be able to do another one. Obviously, I've done all of these because I'm level 55. But the duty roulette, effectively, when you first do it, you get a a bonus to your experience points. So in this case, an adventurer in need is a healer, which would be me. I would get an added experience of 6,000 EXP, 5,000 gil, and 1,848 seals, which is a lot, actually. Then you have guild tests. So all of these duty roulettes you could do daily. Then you have lev quests, which you get a fresh amount of allowed. It's like an allowance. You get an allowance of like, I think 7 lev quests per day. There's so much to do in this game. I have 100. They roll over, thank God, because I don't do any of them ever because I don't have time. I am a very casual player by life choices. Just that's my life. I can't play all the time. I wish I could. And it's so cool. There's so much to do in this game. It's like, oh, and then you have your hunting logs. Like, here's all of my craftable stuff that's the worst one I could have pulled up. This is all of my craftable stuff as a chef because I'm a level 55. Okay. If I had to give one piece of advice right this very moment, I'm thinking of doing a noob to noob video where I tell you guys things that I've learned the hard way. This is one of them. If you're gonna do your other quests that are like your other jobs, like the Disciples of Hand and Disciples of Land, which is what they refer to for these, start with your land quests or your land jobs, because I'll tell you right now, you're gonna save yourself a butt ton of gil if you just do these first. Like, I did Culinarian first, and I spent a stupid amount of money that I could have saved if I had just done Botanist first, because that is probably the most important one for Culinarian. Botanist is, both of these are needed for pretty much everything else, like, I'll be honest, Minor and Botanist, but you can get away with just doing Botanist for Culinarian, and obviously I didn't do Fishing. I didn't really need it as much, but I also really wanted to be a fisher, and now I'm sad because I didn't max it out. But that's my number one piece of advice, is if you are going to do any of these, at least do like the pertinent one for what you're going to need the most, which Botanist will give you wood as well. So, just like, it's not just like plants for food, it's also wood and like flax and what did I say, flax, wool. I think you get like anything you need for cloth is also Botanist, so heads up. And Minor I think Minor is also used in they're all used interconnectedly. Like, these two are your most important, Minor and Botanist. They will save you a lot of money if you do them first. Just trust me on that. But I've really been enjoying myself, which is really surprising. I normally don't. I have so many stories of people just being like really friendly in this game. First of all, I'm learning Astrologian, which is a healer class. Healers in Final Fantasy XIV are not just expected to just heal and do nothing else. You are also expected to be backup DPS. So you don't necessarily want to top up everyone's life. You just want to make sure that they don't die. And then when they are not dying and everyone's health is doing fine, you are attacking. So you are always doing something, which as an Astrologian is very complicated because your MP just disappears as an Astrologian. It's gone. You're like, okay, you know what? I still have a little bit. I'm not going to use anything to make my MP come back. No, it's gone forever. Like, you lost it and you have like 200 MP and you're like, oh no, I forgot to cast lucid dreaming. I'm a terrible healer, which is me. But I mean, like, I'm learning how to play this. We did a dungeon this weekend and I was so bad. I died like 5 times, and Brent is the tank and I lost him like 6 times. It was so bad. His health was just like ka-chunk, and then like just like a vast majority of his health would vanish because he's a tank. And in 14, tanks and healers have probably the most stressful jobs. Arguably, I'm sure people will argue over that, but tanks have to always carry enmity. They can't allow any of the enemies to attack anyone else. Why? Because everyone else is squishy. Healers have a priority to look after the tank, because if the tank is doing well, then they have all of the enmity. So nothing is attacking around the tank. They are just attacking the tank. So your DPS should be safe. Therefore, you should be able to just heal the tank. And that's basically that is healers. One healer keeps a party of 4 alive, including themselves if they're very, very unlucky. Another really fun instance was we were doing oh no, I don't remember what the fate is called. Their fates are overworld events that will just happen randomly, and you can run up on them, and people will be doing things, and there's enemies that pop up, or like little side quests that will just happen every so often, like every 5 minutes or something, and then you go do them, and anyone can join in with you, and everyone gets EXP. So this one is a very nasty one in Kurthus, if you know where that is, and it's called like the Eyes That See, or the Seeing Eyes, the Eyes That Bind, something about eyes. It's a giant cyclops. It's a 30-minute fate, which is very unusual, but also necessary because, oh my god, it's so hard. It is this massive enemy that just has like an insane amount of, it's basically a walking raid. Like, it is a boss. It's not even just like, oh look, I'll go do that little side quest for 15 minutes. No, this guy is like, okay, I need 10 people to do this, because like, okay, one time, so I've done this quest twice. I've tried to do this fate twice. And the first time I did it, Brent and I tried to do it, and we died instantly. We were smushed, mostly because we were very underleveled, even though it was like a level 30 fate, and we were like level 30. This thing is not level 30. It's a lie. So I ended up speaking to the Novice Network, and I was like, hey, would anybody be willing to help me out? And all of a sudden 40 people showed up. I was like, oh my god. I really wasn't expecting it. It was so cool. And then like I added like 15 of them to my party, and then we all like ran in, and I was a black mage at the time, so I didn't have to keep anybody alive. I just had to deal damage and not die. Which didn't work out. I think I died twice because that thing has it has this horrible move that has a very small window to realize what it's doing. It crouches down. There's no AoE circle, so you don't realize that it's an attack that will actually have range, and then it will spin. And if you are anything but a tank, maybe even if you're a tank, you will die in one hit. It's just, for sure as an astrologian, it is a one-hit kill. Even at full health, I'm dead. Which I learned that I died to that 4 times this weekend, because we did it again. And the second time that we did it, Brent and I decided to try to give it a go just for fun. Like, we didn't ask anybody to come help us. And we were trying to kill it, and we were laughing because we were like, oh my god, what were we thinking? Why did we do this? This is so stupid. And then people were running past, and they stopped. And then all of a sudden there was like 5 people trying to help us on this thing that they just happened to be running past. And I was a healer, and I was trying to heal people. And then I was like, I'm being dumb. And I added them to my party so that I could try to take care of them and heal them. And then so like more and more people started coming, and then I accidentally died. We almost had it, but the problem is the last person, they probably didn't even know they were the last person. They accidentally stepped out of the circle of the fate, and all its health came back, and we had like 10 minutes left on it, and there was no way. So we didn't succeed, unfortunately, but everyone was still so nice. Like, afterwards, everyone was like, oh, that sucks, but hey, we had a lot of fun, and that was really good. You guys did really good. And everybody was like, oh yeah, that was really great. We still got EXP out of it. I mean, like, that's so cool. Like, everyone was so nice when we did that. And I just, like, that's what I really like about 14, is that everyone is usually so friendly and so nice and so like understanding in the game. Granted, it's because there's a chance that they could be rewarded, but also I think that the game has just really fostered it. So at first, I'm sure it started off as people being like, well, I really want this, and I'm only gonna get this if I'm nice. So people very quickly learned, if you're a jerk, you're not gonna get the most out of the game. And then, you know, obviously over time, as people rewarded each other by commenting on how nice everyone is, people got another sort of enjoyment out of it, which was a very like emotional enjoyment out of actually just being nice in the game. And I think that's sort of what's fostered, you know, Final Fantasy XIV, and of course, not to say nothing of the story. Like, I haven't even talked about the story. So if you start Final Fantasy XIV, so patches in Final Fantasy XIV are actually additional story content, which is very big for this game. Story is a huge thing for a lot of people in 14. I say this like I'm like a longtime member of the community. Like, story is like really important to the entire community. I would know because I've been here forever. No. Story is a huge part for a lot of players. Officially myself, okay, I would die for Alfino. He's my son. I've adopted him. I would die for him. Alfino is my child. But the game is, okay, so there's sections of the game, and the original game, A Realm Reborn, is the original Final Fantasy XIV. And obviously, well, it's the remake of the original 14. For those of you who don't know, when 14 was originally released, it didn't do so well. It kind of wasn't like complete. I specifically have a memory. This is important. I swear to God. I know I'm tangentizing, but it's fun. What is this but a vlog about Final Fantasy XIV? And I'm hanging out in this inn because I realize that I'm in Ishgard, and I don't want to spoiler that because that's Heavensward, and it's this like really cool reveal. So I'm just gonna hang out in this inn. But I could teleport, but when 14 first released, right? It was not received very well. And I mean, understandably so. Oh, that's cute. Okay, wait. That's just chilling next to my chocobo. Like, I love chocobos. Okay, sorry. When 14 was first released, it wasn't done. And I specifically have this memory of the Yogscast playing 14. And I've always wanted to play an MMO. I have wanted to be a part of the experience, but I'm terrified of people. So I never get far enough in the experience. And I typically run away from people. I still kind of do. Like, when we partied up with everybody, I was like, okay, thanks, bye. Then I just disbanded the party and ran. So I'm getting over it. It's just, I'm working on it. It helps that people are really nice. But the Yogscast played it, and I was like, oh, I want to see this. Like, it's a Final Fantasy online multiplayer game. Like, I didn't know about 11. So 14 was my first MMO for Final Fantasy. And I watched them, and it was so bad. I think it was Lewis playing, he picked a Lalafell, and he made them a fisherman, which I don't know why they made that a class that you could pick at the beginning of the game, because at the time, you could attack as a fisherman by throwing a pebble, basically, like a rock, and it did 1 HP of damage. Which, okay, in the beginning of that original 14 experience, you get thrown into a fight on the ship as it's on its way to Limsa Lominsa, and there were enemies on the ship with like quite a bit of health, like at least like 100 each. Okay, it was probably closer to 1,000. And they were playing a fisherman that was only doing like 1 HP of damage with every rock that it threw. It was so bad. It was like, what were they thinking? Why did they think that that was acceptable? Like, at least make it do more damage if at the beginning of the game. Like, come on. That was so bad. And it took them a very long time to get through that. So I didn't pick it up back then because they were my experience with Final Fantasy XIV. So then obviously 14 got a new team and it was remade into A Realm Reborn. And when that was released, it was a lot better, obviously. And A Realm Reborn is what is it's what everybody refers to for the vanilla, the like main starting content of the game. It takes a very long time to get through that, okay? Just because it's like, there's no DLC, like, oh my god, there are so many quests. I have 7 days worth of playtime, and that was all A Realm Reborn, okay? And that is obviously 7 days of like, that wasn't 7 days real time. That was like 2 months, okay? Because obviously Brent and I can only play when we get home from work. So 7 days of playtime with a couple hours at a time. It took a very long time to get through the original content. And that's obviously with us also doing things like our Disciples of Hand and Disciples of Land jobs. So with that, there is the main story quest, which is A Realm Reborn. I will say A Realm Reborn is a bit slow in story. Like, it takes a little bit to get through. It's not as good as it gets later on, although it does start to pick up and you start feeling yourself getting attached to people and you start caring. And look, I feel emotional, okay? Like, I'm in Heavensward. Things really pick up. Like, okay, it's a story, all right? Like, you're gonna get attached. You're gonna love characters, but it takes some time in the beginning of the game, and it's worth sitting through at the beginning. And then you're going to look back on it very sadly and fondly and be like, I miss simpler times. You know, it's going to mean something for you. That's another thing that's really cool about 14. It has something called New Game Plus, which as of right now, New Game Plus is basically just the ability to start from the beginning of Heavensward and do all of the main story quests from there onward. In a future update, they said that they will allow the ability to redo A Realm Reborn as well, which I'm hoping will happen relatively soon, maybe with the next expansion, because instead of, obviously I didn't record myself playing this through the first time, obviously. What I wanted to do was to get through the game and sort of learn how to play and figure this out and not be stumbling around, because I do have a series that I did start a long time ago and I didn't know what I was doing. And I did get a lot of complaints on that series, even though it has a lot of views. Like, people were like, what are you doing? You're really bad at this. And I was like, well, yeah, I've never played. And then I realized, you know, I think for a game like this, if I was going to record me doing the main storyline quest, I should already know how to play. So my idea was to complete the game and then do New Game Plus. And I have a feeling that for a little bit there, I was like, man, am I even going to want to do New Game Plus? Because it has taken me a long, long time to get through A Realm Reborn. And now I'm like in Heavensward and I'm like, I want to do A Realm Reborn again because I want to go back to simpler times. So I know I'm going to want to do it again. And so obviously, like, that's really cool. I never have to make another character. Like, what? Like, come on, that's really cool. And there's like items that you could buy where you can change the way your character looks. So obviously, if you don't like the way your character looks, like, you're not stuck looking like this. I don't have to be a bunny child. I don't have to be Vera. I could be Big Angry Catman or Mikote, which is human cat, and Lalafell, which are potatoes. So, yeah, this was a weird vlog. I just really wanted to talk about how much I really, 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 really like Final Fantasy XIV, and how it's become kind of like a really nice way to just relax for me, which is very strange because I'm unused to that in something like an MMO. And I mean, look, it's like really cute. Like, look how cute this is. I should have mentioned this outfit is a glamour, which glamours are basically a way to make unappealing clothing look a lot better. Her actual outfit is not great. It's very it's not good. I have glamour. I know I have my astrologic glamored, but my black mage is not glamored. Oopsies, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to keep the light on her. So, you know, this is my black mage currently. It's just, what did I just press? Oh God, what have I done? Oh my God, I didn't even know you could do this. Brent, I'm in first person. Yes, my headphones on. I'm in first person. What the heck is this? I didn't even know you could do this. I think I hit home. Yeah, I did. Okay, well, if you press home, you're in first person. I'm obviously playing the PC version. This was what I meant to do, was take the HUD away, and instead I accidentally put myself in first person. So this is my black mage, which is my highest level class, if you couldn't tell by all the blue. And then this is my obviously not glamored minor. Not everything that I have is glamored. I don't even think, oh, this is this is two different glamours. I have a oh, is there something that I could glamour that I don't mind? No, this is not culinarian. I could glamour botanist. Botanist is a bit sad. Look at botanist. Botanist is a bit of a mess. I need to make, oh, I have a, I don't have the bunny suit on me. Okay, clothe yourself, child. Oh, my blue mage doesn't have the cool gear on. Okay, well, so here are my glamour plates. These are ways to make unappealing outfits look appealing. This is the original starter Vera gear. This is what Vera start the game in, which okay, my first experience with the Vera is from Final Fantasy XII, and this is what Fran wore in Final Fantasy XII. And I like Final Fantasy XII, so no 12 hate in the chat, okay? And I think this is so cute. I don't know why I love the Vera. Like, when I found out Vera were in Final Fantasy XIV, I hadn't been playing for a while, and I was like, well, I need to come back. The Vera were like one of my favorite races in all of Final Fantasy, and obviously I first experienced them in 12 as my Cloud outfit. I don't even remember where I got this from. Oh, I think this was an event item when 7 released. I think everyone got this. This and this, as well as this. These are rewards for having been subscribed for so long. That's why I have these. Obviously, this is Titus. What's wrong with me? No, it's Zidane. Titus. This is Zidane from Final Fantasy IX. And obviously this is Cloud, and then this is Leon Squall, and this is Furion? Yes, from Final Fantasy II? Maybe? I think? I could be wrong. And this is just Black Mage gear. The only thing that I have to complain about with the Vera is that you don't get to wear hats. You don't get any hats, which makes Black Mage really weird because Black Mage, its whole shtick is this big wide brim witch hat that like covers one eye, and it's like big and covers your entire body. Like obviously, like look at my character, look at her. She's like covered head to toe in robes, and no, I don't get hats. So it just looks really weird when you're a mage and you don't get hats. Like it's really weird. Anyways, yeah, there we go. That's my fun. I can go ahead and apply any one of these here. We'll apply Squall to my Astrologian. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, I love it. Look at that. Squall is one of my favorites anyways. This would be so much better to wear if I was a Gunbreaker class, which is obviously Squall's class. He's a Gunbreaker. But you know, screw the rules. I can do whatever I want around here. Anyways, I know this was a really weird vlog. I basically just geeked out over Final Fantasy XIV for 36 minutes. So if you made it this far, gee, thanks. I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for watching this. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys next time. Let me know if you guys play. I mentioned this earlier, but I'm on the server Genova. And I just really like this game. I love playing with Brent. We play this game pretty much like I wouldn't say every day, but we play basically every day. And I love playing with him. Like this is like my us time where we play Final Fantasy XIV together. You know, we come home from work and this is what we do. So I really love that. And of course, before anybody asks, yes, I will be doing the ceremony of bonding. I will make him. I want that so much. I will absolutely be doing the ceremony of bonding, which is basically a really, really, really intense wedding ceremony. Don't even get me started on that. It's another 40 minutes of me geeking out over the wedding ceremony that they have in this game because it's like literally a 2-hour ceremony. It is a 2-hour real-time ceremony where 2 characters get married and get together, and you can invite other players to it. It's so cool. This game is so cool. I freaking love it. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.